Okay, this is 3-6, no limit. I'm only one tabling here, but I'll walk you guys through like my thought process. This guy to my right has been playing pretty loose, so King Jack would usually be a fold. At these limits, you really want to think about every decision you make too. Like, every decision matters. I do remember making a few mistakes, but overall I played good. This wasn't my best video, but in position, I call. He bets pot basically, that's fold. He had big hand. 10 queen. It's not a bad hand to raise with. You're getting a lot of implied odds. At these levels, like, you really want to start finding out how your opponents play and their tendencies, their bet sizing, their 3-bet range, their range in general. It all comes down. Ten-9 in the big blind. This guy could be ahead even before the flop. I think a call there is good. No point in re-raising. Now here we hit it. You have to bet unless he has the king or the ace, which is unlikely. He could re-raise us. A check there is fine too, but just depending what type of read you have on your opponent in that situation. I feel like he would have bet the turn if he had a king of spades or ace of spades. And he could have had a weak spade, maybe like an ace 8, and the 8 was a spade that we could have got paid off with. That's what a lot of players forget to do is value bet, knowing when to value bet, when not to. If you feel like your opponent can pay you off in a spot, or he has a hand but it's weaker than yours, it's important not to get value out of it. It's important to get value out of it. And bet sizing comes into play in those situations. Here we have the jack of clubs with backdoor, and we hit our open ender with the club. This is a good spot for us. He checked, which means he probably doesn't have the ace of clubs. And he folds. I overbet that. I bet the pot because I felt like it would look like a bluff in a lot of places, but you could also maybe bet even less than half the pot to try to extract value. I'm not gonna sit here and talk about like 3-betting and check raising. This is more geared towards players that are either aspiring to move up in limits or uh, are close to moving up to limits, playing like the 1-2, 2-4. Here we have an open ender. We call, and I think this, yeah, we call. We have the open ender. An ace comes. He gives us the free card. I was thinking about betting, so we hit it. I ended up checking. So right here, no flush. We have the nuts. So I think right here, yeah, he bet big. He probably has a big hand that he's trying to get value off of by making it look like a bluff. But we hit the nuts, so this is automatic min raise. I mean re-raise. He insta shoves. He ended up having aces. If he would have bet that turn, there was a good chance I'd be folding, even though I had the open-ended under straight. If he bet it big enough, there he just gave us the free card, and he messed up in that situation. He thought we were gonna bet. It wasn't a bad play, but you're really not gonna get value from me if I bet and then you call or re-raise because I'm either folding or check folding the river. So there you always want to lead because a lead doesn't always mean you're strong. If he would have led that turn with an ace, it's hard to believe he had an ace because he bet the flop with no ace. I feel like I played that hand perfectly. This guy just open shoves. Like, this guy's been very loose all game. We had top pair and open ender, but he could have ace king there or something already made, just trying to get value. I'll wait for another day on that one. This guy to my left is pretty loose, so I'm gonna keep an eye on him. This guy's getting pretty short stacked. You want to keep an eye on that because they're not going to be on their best game some of the time. Here he bets. There's really no value in it when he bets pot right there. A call is okay, but it's really not the best play. Here we pick up kings on the button. No, standard 3 times big blind raise. You don't want to make yourself play out of style half the pot bet on a good board for us. And I'm happy with taking it down right there. Because we didn't get much action, we got a call pre-flop, got as much value as we can. I could have checked. I like the check on the flop. But I feel like Jack 8-5 is, most of the time, I won't be hitting that. Unless I have like Jack Queen, but most of the time you're not hitting Jack 8-5 rag board, so he could have took that bet as weakness also. But a check there is fine, because that can also say that you didn't hit that rag board. It's all about what your read is on your opponent. Here he min raises under the gun, and he's been raising like 4 times the big blind pre-flop, then he'll be raising. That's the first time he min raised under the gun. So I'll give him credit for a big hand right there. It could be really weak too. That shows a lot of weakness because usually with a decent hand under the gun, even though we're 5-handed, you want to be raising 3 times the big blind or 3.5 times the big blind just to get the stragglers and late callers out of the pot. I haven't been playing perfect, but I feel like there's weak players at this table. There's solid players also, but when there's weak players, you kind of want to mix up your game and try to extract as much value as you can from them. Not saying play loosely, but if you think they're weak players, you can start opening up your range to uh, take down the hand post flop if you think you can outplay them. This guy hit a jack and they just bet away at it. It's also key when you're playing a hand with your opponent, or even if you're out of a hand, try to put them on hands and their range in that situation. You're not always going to have like a dead read. Like 5% of the time you'll have a dead read, but maybe less than that. But if you can put them on a range that that contributes to attracting more value from them, and also saving yourself more money. This guy opens up. This guy three-way, pretty big pot right now. I'll check. Thinking like someone has pocket pairs. Yep, pocket pairs. Oh, they both had pocket pairs. See right there, just kind of like guessing what your opponents have in that situation. They both had pocket pairs, and that's what I put them on. The way they played the hand. The only thing about this site that I don't like is there's no way to keep track on your opponents. It's Bovada Poker. We're all given new numbers every time we sit down at a table, a tournament, whatever. So once I leave, if I come back, they have no idea that it's the same person. I could leave this table right now and then join 5 seconds later. They have no idea it's the same person sitting down. I know it's for like security and people's privacy and so people won't track other people, but at the same time that's kind of what poker is to me. You play with people, you gain experience, and you have notes on them. Even top pros do that. They have notes on Phil Ivey has notes on Tom Dwan. Everyone has notes on Phil Hellmuth because he just sucks. And I think that's what the game should be. Should be able to. I didn't play this hand like I wanted to. That was horrible. And yeah, so not having a poker name or any way to track your opponents yeah, I don't really like that. Here, pocket eights just gets folded to me. This guy auto posts, usually a sign of a bad player, and he is short stack, so you want to watch out for that. Any guy that auto posts doesn't really care about their bankroll or the long term. They just want to get in the action and are just always looking for action. That's what I take it as. And every time I've put that note on someone that does it, I end up 95% of the time being right about that player. This guy is most likely playing out of his limit right now at 3-6. He's pretty short stacked. This could be the rest of his bankroll also. So when he's playing with the rest of his bankroll instead of someone sitting down playing with 20, 25 big blinds, they're not going to be at their best game compared to other players. So that's definitely something to take note of. And here, he he min raised. I'm taking a note with the nuts on the river. So this guy bet and he just min raised. It's definitely something, if I get in a hand with him later, you want to watch out for. If you're bad at remembering, just take a note real quick. Here I call in the small blind. This, you could fold this, you can call this, but this guy's really loose and I'm getting implied odds too. So I ended up calling. Especially with the short stack at the table. Yeah, see, this guy is just so loose. Just trying to get his money in, and he left. He's probably out of money right now. He'll probably need to deposit more money in. Hopefully he's not playing with his life savings, because that wouldn't be good for him. Here we hit our open ender. There's clubs out there. He could have it. We're just gonna call. This guy's really loose, so here he bets way under, and we ended up taking it down.